Hello and welcome to my video where I'm going to show you how to knit the dual cross rib. I first knit this pattern not too long ago and I just really like the texture it creates. One of the rows is a bit tricky, so today I thought I'd do a demonstration. Right, so to begin you need to cast on a multiple of 7 stitches plus 1. I cast on 29 using the long tail cast on, but you could use your favourite method. For row 1, which represents the wrong side or the back of the knitting, you need to begin with 3 purl stitches. So make sure the working yarn is at the front and purl 3. Then take the working yarn between the needles to the back and knit 2. And then bring it to the front again and purl 5. And just repeat, knit 2, purl 5 over and over across the row. So that's knit 2, purl 5, knit 2, purl 5, and so on. Once you get to the last 5 stitches, you'll instead knit 2 and then purl 3. Like so. The main thing to remember is that the working yarn needs to be behind the needles for a knit stitch and in front of the needles for a purl stitch. Then for row 2, which represents the right side or the front of the knitting, you just need to do a knit row. So that's just knit stitches all of the way across. And then rows 3 through to 6 are just repeats of rows 1 and 2. So instead of demonstrating those again, I'm just going to put the pattern for them up on screen now. Row 7 then begins with 2 knit stitches. Then you need to slip a stitch purlwise with the yarn in front. So bring the working yarn to the front of the needles and then take the right hand needle down to the next stitch as if to purl, but instead of purling it you just slip it off the end of the needle, like so. Then you take the working yarn to the back again and knit 2. Then once again slip a stitch purlwise with the yarn in front. And then take the working yarn to the back again and knit 3. And you just repeat those 7 stitches over and over until the end of the row. So the repeating section is slip a stitch purlwise with the yarn in front, knit 2, slip a stitch purlwise with the yarn in front, and knit 3, and so on. Just note that you'll end this row with 2 knit stitches rather than 3. Then row 8 is pretty much the same as row 7, except we keep the working yarn at the back. So begin with 2 knit stitches, and then you need to slip a stitch purlwise with the yarn in back. So keeping the working yarn at the back, you slip the next stitch purlwise using the right hand needle, as we did before. Then knit 2 stitches, and once again slip a stitch purlwise with the yarn in back. And then knit 3 stitches. And then you repeat those 7 stitches. So that's slip 1 with the yarn in back, knit 2, slip 1 with the yarn in back, and knit 3, and so on across the row. However, note that you'll end this row with 2 knit stitches rather than 3. Row 9 is the same as row 7, so I'm just going to put the pattern for that up on screen now. And finally, we're on to the last row, which is row 10. We begin this row with 2 knit stitches. And now we've reached the slightly tricky section. First, you need to drop the next stitch, which is a slip stitch, off the needle, and then slip the next 2 stitches purlwise to the right hand needle, like so. And then drop the next stitch as well, which is also a slip stitch. We're now going to put the first stitch that we dropped off the needle back onto the left hand needle. When you do this, just make sure you're not twisting the stitch. Then slip the 2 stitches from the right hand needle back to the left hand needle purlwise, like so. And then pick up the second stitch that you dropped. Again, making sure that you don't twist that stitch. The result of this is that the 2 slip stitches cross over each other. And then knit 7 stitches. And repeat this across the row. So drop a stitch, slip 2 stitches purlwise to the right hand needle, and drop a stitch. Put the first drop stitch back onto the left hand needle, slip the 2 stitches from the right hand needle back to the left hand needle, and pick up that second drop stitch. And then knit 7 stitches. And so on until the end of the row. Note that you'll end this row with 6 knit stitches rather than 7. And that's it, that's the 10 row pattern repeat. Bear in mind that if you want this pattern to be symmetrical lengthwise as well as widthwise, you'll need to repeat rows 1 to 6 at the end. i.e. you'll repeat rows 1 to 10 over and over, and then after the last repeat, you'll knit rows 1 to 6 once more. And as you can see here, that's exactly what I've done. You can see here that the slip stitches cross over each other, and you also have these ovals that are filled with garter stitch. It's nice and stretchy, it's an interesting texture, and it's one of my favourites. So that's it, that's how you knit the dual cross rib. I really hope you found this useful, and thank you very much for watching.